Another day, guys. Another day, another dollar. The Buffalo Bills smashing it. Beane is a wizard. I can't believe we're here, right? So let's just walk through a little bit. First off, you see the headlines. Daryl Williams just signed a 3-year, $28.2 million deal, half of which is guaranteed, $14 million guaranteed. That doesn't mean that his salary is guaranteed. That just means there's signing bonus money. There's a big difference between signing bonus money and guaranteed salary. So that's a big deal there between the two of them. Because signing bonus money is divided up among the years of the contract evenly, whereas guaranteed salary is obviously just the amount of money that you're absolutely going to pay. But this is a big deal, right? So Daryl Williams locks in for 3 years, $26.2 million, turns a 1-year, $2 million deal into a really nice payday. Big thanks to Buffalo Mafia Sports Talk. You see him in the comments section. He's been messaging me. Like, he's on top of all this stuff. He's like, Daryl Williams just signed. Your source is me. Like, touche. Yes, it certainly is. But that's not all. Mario Addison also agreed to a pay cut, which is a huge deal. One of the problems with Mario Addison is if you were going to cut him, you were basically going to get near nothing for cutting him unless you cut him post June 1st. So him taking a pay cut kind of helps that salary cap number now. But I want to just phrase this out, right? So the guys who have taken pay cuts, Vernon Butler, when you start looking at Mitch Morris, when you look at Mario Addison, these guys that are restructuring deals, that does not mean that they're going to be on the roster. Okay. That doesn't mean that. That means that they're taking less money to stay. That doesn't mean they're going to stay, right? In the case of Mario Addison, the Bills can still release him post June 1st and still save a bunch of money on the salary cap, even though he's taking a pay cut. Just makes keeping him all that much easier, right? So just because you've seen guys take pay cuts does not mean they're locked into this roster. That's not what that means at all. You re-sign Matt Milano because Matt Milano had, just a crazy offseason where he was seen as one of the top linebackers in the free agency class. And then 3 weeks later, Matt Milano's looking around and he's going, man, this room got real crowded. This room got real crowded. He's the smallest one in the room. He's like, man, it's busy in here. Daryl Williams, kind of a similar scenario. Daryl Williams was looking like one of the top 3 tackles in this free agent class. And then you look and Kansas City's just hemorrhaging offensive line talent. And the room got real crowded. The best thing for Daryl Williams to do was to come back to Buffalo. Again, you're not going to lose value here. This is a great deal for Buffalo. It's a great deal for Daryl Williams, especially in a market where he might not have been the best free agent tackle, but all these other tackles, they're going to look at the Daryl Williams deal now and say 3 years might be what it is. Might be getting 3-year deals, right? Now, this has a couple of different effects. First off, it means Cody Ford is likely no longer being viewed as a tackle. It's probably a good choice. Cody Ford's probably no longer being viewed as a tackle, looked at being viewed as a guard. The downside of that is it probably means that he probably is being viewed as Feliciano's replacement. You do have like Butker still. That is still an option. You could still retain Ike Butker. But it also means you still need some guard help, right? I don't think any of us are going to be sleeping well thinking of the guard depth on this team going, man, I feel so much better now that they signed Daryl Williams. They signed Daryl Williams because he clearly outplayed every other tackle on the roster. It's as simple as that. There was a very clear divide between Cody Ford and Daryl Williams. It wasn't even close. There was a very clear divide. Now, what does the Matt Milano signing, what did that mean to Daryl Williams? I think it showed, right, that you save some money when you released Brown. You save some money when you released Quentin Jefferson. And then you immediately gave that money to Matt Milano. And you're probably in talks with Williams the entire time. Once those offensive linemen started getting released in Kansas City, you're like, listen, this is the start of a wave. You sure you want to go anywhere? Because this works. This works. Same offensive coordinator, same quarterback, same offensive line coach. Everything's the same. Everything's the same. You sure you want to leave? No, absolutely not. This is a great deal for Buffalo. Great deal for Daryl Williams. We don't know what the salary looks like. So that's the thing that's kind of tough to say. If you're going to ask what the Bills salary cap number is right now, it's really tough to say because you You have no idea. We don't know what the salary is on this deal. We don't know what the salary or what the pay cut structure was for Mario Addison. We know Matt Milano's number is going to be around $7 million for next season or this upcoming season. But that's really kind of where the news is dry right now. We don't have exact numbers. So let's go to the comment section. Randy Hartman says 4 out of 5 spots locked up and guards are plentiful in the draft. That is very true. Buffalo Mafia Sports Talk. Richie Incognito, bro, he's 38. But I don't blame Deion Dawkins for wanting to get a veteran guard in after what he went through last season. I don't blame him at all. Jordan Sidakowski, huge, Tom, huge. Paul Berg says, bring back Incognito. We need some crazy. Of course, Paul Berg is supportive of Richie Incognito, but hates Deion Dawkins. That makes total sense. Spin 0481, Wyatt Davis first round. Guards are plentiful in the draft. You can definitely find a guard at 30 that can come in and start for you right away. I can't snag says, don't watch much Bills, but is Cody Ford good? Cody Ford is... I do like Cody Ford. I like Cody Ford at guard a lot more than I like him at tackle. I think we could probably just leave it at this. Jason Hawkins, how does Beane do this? Is he a wizard? He is most certainly a wizard. But when you start freeing up, when you have, okay, we're going to get into contract talk real quick. So when you sign guys to deals without a lot of signing bonus money, with a lot of base salary, that means that you can let them go in later years and it doesn't penalize your team. When you look at a team like New Orleans, that's the exact opposite of what they've done. They've restructured guys over and over and over again. It's been a highway to hell in New Orleans because they just keep giving guys more and more signing bonus money. And while that gives you short-term benefit, if you give a guy a lot of signing bonus money, that money gets spread out evenly across all years of the deal. So it gives you a lot of relief right now. But once you get year 2, year 3, year 4 of that deal, well, now we're starting to get dangerous, right? Because that salary cap or that signing bonus money, if you want to release that guy, whatever money is remaining on that signing bonus, that's your salary cap penalty. So it gets real dangerous to start signing guys to a lot of big signing bonus money contracts. Beane doesn't do that, right? They make other guarantees to give these guys money right away. And that's what's going to be so fascinating is Tremaine Edmonds' options coming up. You've now got Matt Milano. You take a look at your offensive line. You just signed Deion Dawkins to an extension. Left guard's kind of a meh. You still got Morris for now at center, although I think they still probably invest some resources there. Your right guard, again, if one of these is going to be Cody Ford in all likelihood, right? And now you just locked up Daryl Williams at right tackle, who played out of his mind, right? Totally comfortable with that. But none of those guys have huge signing bonus money contracts, which means you can walk away from it at any time. That's why Cody Ford, you say, well, $14 million is guaranteed, Paul. That's half his contract. Yes, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that it's all signing bonus money. That doesn't mean that it's all base salary. It's going to be a mix of the two. It might be $10 million as a signing bonus. We don't know the details on the contract yet, but that's signing bonus money. Remember, that's going to be divided up evenly across all years. Noah Bruno, first RB in the first round. I'm telling you, I think RB is more and more important than tight end, O-line, or D-line. Chris Strode says CB2 is now our biggest need. Corey, how much for Williams? Sorry, I'm late. Yeah, it was 3 years, $28.2 million, 14 guaranteed. Again, we're not sure if that's signing bonus money, base salary. It's probably a mix of the two of them. Randy Hartman, Milano's deal, for example, had 3.5 dead cap after 2023 if they want to cut bait. That's exactly right. They give themselves an out after 2 years with the Matt Milano deal. I'm very curious about the Daryl Williams one. It could be very similar. I'm sure a lot of players want out after 2 years. Think about it, right? You're going to have a down salary cap year right now. Then next year, probably going to be a down salary cap year. But after that, once the cap starts going up, teams are going to start spending money like crazy, right? And players are going to want out. They're going to want to hit that free agent market. And Williams and Milano staying in Buffalo, they're going to retain a ton of value for if they ever do hit free agency, and Buffalo can get out of the deals whenever they want. Scott Blakely, would you say priorities in this draft are edge, speed receiver, and CB2? The nice thing about these moves is everything's still on the table. You could still go after a CB2. You could still go after a running back. You can still do a lot of things, right? All of it's still on the table. Nothing is off the table at this point. You could still go after another linebacker in the draft. You could still go after a guard. You could still go after a speed wide receiver. You could still go after a CB2. You could still draft a running back. The only position that's off the board is quarterback in the early rounds. That's it. Everything else is still on the board because these players are going to slide right in for you and give you the opportunity to develop players that could be a longer term future. And you'd also be able to get out of these contracts when you want. Let's see here. Michael Reisman, best thing for our nerves is just let Beane do his thing. Yeah, and let's not forget, the legal tampering period is coming up. I think Monday, free agents could start talking with teams. Now, Buffalo spent a lot of money already. They spent a lot of money in the last 48 hours, okay? And they didn't have a lot of money to spend in the first place. But you still may see some moves, right? I know they're getting guys to take pay cuts right now, and that speaks a lot to the culture and the future and where players feel that they are. Don't think that buzz doesn't stop in Buffalo. If players see other players currently in the building taking pay cuts, it's not because they're worried about getting cut. It's because this is where they want to be. They know that their contract isn't where it needs to be for the team, so they're like, no, I don't want to go anywhere. This is where I want to be. This is where I'm going to be. Players on the outside see that, and that makes leveraging those free agent deals, it gives Buffalo leverage. So while we may not see a blockbuster free agent group because the Bills don't have a ton of money to spend, they've got all the leverage in the world right now when discussing things with free agents. Look at all the players that are taking pay cuts just to stay, and look at the other teams in the NFL and tell me, are they being as successful as Buffalo? Not with the brand of player that Buffalo is being able to retain. No, they are not. Let's get to some more comments. Andrew Evans, can we sign any free agents with the amount of money left? We can. Free agency doesn't technically start till the 17th, but you'll be able to start talking with players on the 15th. You can't officially sign deals until the 17th. There's not a lot of money left. We may still see some roster readjustment here along the way, to whatever that means. There's a lot going on. Ron Enox, I haven't seen you in forever, dude. Marcel Rios, give the first round pick and get Daniel Hunter. Again, the great thing about this is everything's still on the board for you in the first round, second round, third round. Literally everything is still there. You can do anything you want. There's an argument for any position. And that makes trading up or trading back or staying put, again, all options. Buffalo can do any of those three, right? But it makes them dangerous. Teams, when Buffalo wants to trade up, it makes them a dangerous team because teams will have no idea what Buffalo's targeting because they're addressing all their needs right now by retaining players. It's great. Can't beat it. You can't beat it. What a time to be a Bills fan. Pepe Laugh, I was expecting us to get either Milano or Williams, not each. Yeah, I think once Milano, you're able to get Milano at $7 million this year, getting Williams back made a lot of sense because think about it, right? You cut John Brown and then basically gave John Brown money to Matt Milano for this year. You cut Quentin Jefferson, and now you're basically giving Quentin Jefferson's money to Daryl Williams. I think we're all okay with that. I don't think there's anybody in this live chat or on this stream that would be like, no, we should have kept John Brown because, we could replace Matt Milano. Maybe there are people out there like that. Perhaps, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but all these deals make complete sense. Matt Mallory says Beane is a monster. You really do have to give it to Brandon Beane. Now, mind you, this offensive line, let's not talk about this offensive line like they were grade A perfect, right? They did struggle to generate lanes to run the football. You could see that in one of three ways. You either think that's the running back problem, and maybe you want to draft a running back in the first round of the draft. You could see that as an offensive line problem, and you're like, okay, well, guard is where we got to go, right? Or maybe it's Josh Allen. Maybe Josh wasn't getting out of plays against looks where the defense was getting the advantage. There's a lot of possibilities here, but continuity is a big thing with offensive linemen. And the Bills have been very fortunate with constantly being able to rebuild the offensive line over and over and over again. And we're past that now. Now it's about retaining that talent and getting to the next level, right? Now, do I think our guard play is going to improve? Well, unfortunately, signing Williams likely means that the retaining of Feliciano is becoming less and less likely. You're just simply running out of money. Right, you probably need to sign another linebacker here once free agency hits. You definitely probably need to at least look at the defensive end group and see if there's any value that you can get there. You're probably looking at another depth safety or nickel linebacker. So you have some needs, right? You're probably going to sign another cornerback. But they've been getting value out of finding corners. Out of Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson was great value for Buffalo. I got him for basically nothing, right? So the Bills have done a great job of finding that value, but it's becoming more and more and more unlikely that Mongo is going to be back because you're just simply running out of resources. Philip Gong says, trade up for Caleb Farley or Kyle Pitts right now. Kyle Pitts is an interesting one, right? Fits that new mold of tight end. hyper athletic, typically was out wide. So I mean, I don't think he's Darren. Everybody's going to say Darren Waller because Darren Waller doesn't really play inline tight end. Kyle Pitts doesn't really play inline tight end either. But Pitts is a freak. You don't normally see tight ends go in the top 10. I remember when OJ Howard was coming out, everybody thought he was a top 10 pick and he slid right down draft boards. We might see something similar with Pitts, seeing as though everybody was so hot on Hawkinson and Fant previous years. And you know, they've not to say they've failed to make an impact, but they've not been worth the value of the pick that they got selected at. I like Pitts a lot. It's definitely not there at 30, but I don't think he's a top 10 pick. If a team jumps on Pitts as top 10, they're probably stretching out a little bit. If you can get to 18, 17, 18, Pitts will probably still be there. Caden asks, bring back Richie. Not even going to try and spell his last name. Yeah, Richie's an interesting conversation, right? Richie's probably league minimum. Let's just have the conversation real quick. Richie Incognito is probably a league minimum guard. You can get him for veteran minimum. Is that who you bring in? If you let him go, it doesn't cost you anything. I mean, I don't mind letting Cody Ford, Ike Bucker, and Richie Incognito slap each other around. Signing Richie doesn't stop you from drafting a guard. This team is all about having a replacement for the replacement. We see this often. They did it when they drafted Singletary. They signed Yeldon 3 days before the draft and drafted Singletary anyway. Like, this is commonplace for them. We've seen them do this before, where they go out and sign. They address in free agency. Okay, early free agency. Yep, here we go. And then the draft happens, and then they double down on those picks again. This is not uncommon for them. You sign Incognito doesn't mean you're not drafting a guard. Philip Gong says, bring in Gabe Jackson. Gabe Jackson's going to be available. Worked with OG Bobby Johnson. Definitely a possibility. Unfortunately, guys, 'tis the season, 'tis the 9 to 5, and I actually have to work for a living. So thank you for joining the live stream. Love you guys. Mario and I are recording in the car, so you'll see episodes this Sunday through this week. They're going to be kind of general-ish because there's going to be a lot of activity going on with the legal tampering period. So we're going to give you a lot of live stuff this week. It'll either be Mario or myself. So be on the lookout for live videos. It's going to be happening fast and furious. All right. Have a good one. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.